welcome back to my channel. There's a lot going on outside, so if you hear a lot of background noise, I would like to apologize. I don't know if you'll necessarily hear it. Normally it doesn't come up, but just in case. I want to end this year, or I want to end this Vlogmas with a video about what 2024 has taught me. Now, I thought about doing what my vision and goals and aspirations for next year were, but I kind of want to start working on them before I start talking about them. But I did want to talk about what this year taught me, and that's what this video is. This year has taught me 3 major lessons. I'm planning on taking them into the next year. Also, I was doing a lot of these things before, and when I stopped doing them, actually all 3 of these things I was doing before, and I was a happier person. Regardless of if things weren't perfect, there was still joy. There was a lot more joy in my life as compared to right now, with there being very minimal joy and trying to figure out what to do next. So, lesson number 1, build healthy habits. Now, by building healthy habits, I'm talking specifically about things that were good for me and that were working for me, and I saw the benefits from it. So there was a point in my life where I was taking vitamins. I was working out at least once a day, depending on the day, sometimes 3. And I was eating better. My body felt better. So there was less fatigue, there was less dizziness, less brain fog than what I have now. And I want to get back to some of those things that I was doing before. I didn't cut everything out, but a large portion of it was due to my schedule. But you know, they say you make time for the things that matter, and what does matter to me is my health, and I have been slacking heavily in that area. So I do currently have things in place that I'm starting now prior to the new year to get back on track. That was just something that I feel like is important. And also with building the healthy habits, it also means that I have to build consistency. It doesn't have to mean that I have to do 2 workouts a day, where one is 2 hours, one is 30 minutes. Like, I don't have to do it in that sense, but I need to give myself a bare minimum where I make sure that I'm not forgetting myself and that I am taking care of my health. And so if that means starting off with, hey, you need to work out at least 3-4 times a week, you need to make sure that you take your vitamins and your supplements that help you. If I just need to make sure that I take vitamins, supplements, if that means I also have to start trying eating differently again like I once did. I haven't slacked in that area. It's just, no. I have. It's more so that I need to just be doing better. So, building better, healthy habits. Lesson number 2. So lesson number 2 for me is follow your passion. 2 years ago, I graduated with my master's, and I lost the job that I had maybe a month and a half after that. And I jumped into working on my passion. I picked up a client. I was doing freelance work. And though I was doing a lot, I was happier because I was doing stuff that I actually had a passion for doing. But I also knew that as an adult, I needed to go back into the corporate world. I needed to get a job. And a year ago, I did that. And when I did that, I kind of pushed my passion and my purpose to the side, and just my corporate life took over everything. And I don't resent my job. I actually like my teammates. I do think that what I do is interesting. But what I will say is that I do miss the creative aspect of my life. I do miss filming. I do miss editing. I do miss making graphics. I do miss writing. I do miss all of those things that I, unfortunately, over the last year, have not had a lot of time for. And I think it definitely shows in how I feel emotionally and mentally. And so this is why doing Vlogmas was such a big deal for me, because even though it was tough and I did go through things while filming Vlogmas this year, and it wasn't a perfect Vlogmas where I was able to upload every day due to sickness and other factors, it just every time that I created something, every time that I created content, and even the long editing and trying to figure out, ooh, what's it, like, I should get that, or but it allowed me to think creatively. I didn't get to do all my creative projects that I wanted to do for Vlogmas, but just getting through as much as I did felt amazing. And having that fire set reignited, and it felt amazing. It didn't mean anything to me whether it was like I had to have a later night or a longer weekend or a earlier morning to edit or come up with ideas. And all of it was just amazing. Just getting back to the bare minimum of my passion and my purpose just feels amazing. So 2024 definitely taught me to keep that version or that portion of myself in my life. So let's get to the last lesson that 2024 taught me. Majority of my life and majority of the things that I've done, whether it was in the work setting or in my personal relationships, I've given everything that I've had to those things. I'm not saying that it wasn't reciprocated by others. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I know that outside of some very specific moments, I neglected myself. And I'm not saying that I'll stop being kind, loving, and caring and supportive to the people around me, because that's just not in my nature to do that. But what is going to change is adding myself to that list. And because I do matter, and I can't give what I don't have. If I can't give love, kindness, sharing, and peace to myself and grace, isn't it harder to give it to other people? And if I'm living my life with a half empty cup, I'm slowly breaking myself down. One of my favorite songs is I Was Here by Beyonce. And I want that feeling. Like, I don't want to go to bed at night thinking to myself, like, would my being here even have a positive notion on anyone outside of myself? Or just basically, I was here, I lived a fulfilled life. I want to know that I lived a life full of joy and grace and happiness. So the first step in that is showing myself love. And I did start that again this year with the biggest step of going back to therapy, and also jumping back into things that I love. Talking more to my family. I want to see them more. I want to spend more time with them. I want to travel. I haven't traveled in so long. I sound like I'm losing my voice again. I want to be healthy. I want to be happy. It's the biggest thing that I always want to be able to say is that I love myself and that I take care of myself. So all those lessons kind of tie together, at least for me. So 2024 was rough. It was hard, like really hard, emotionally and mentally, physically. And I'm working on all of those things now. I may not be ending the year strong like I hoped and thought I would, but I'm ending it standing on 10 toes. So 3 lessons for 2024 for me that I'm taking into the rest of my life. Build healthy habits. Follow your passion and purpose. Show yourself love. If any of that resonates with you, I hope you take it with you and find out what all of those things mean to you, as I have found what they mean to me. And I can't wait for us to continue on this journey, or start it now or next year. I hope you have a great new year. I hope you had a Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, and see you in 2025.